Nebraska, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
The captain, Vershawn Jackson.
There are 11 black shirts handed out.
Not 14.
Not 14.
Oh, the top 11 guy.
Hey,
I like it.
Well,
that's Charlie McBride made it like that. No MJ Sherman.
That don't mean you can't get one.
No, you said 11.
That don't mean you can't earn it. No, there's others.
No,
There's 11 others. Come on, Terrell.
Just going by what you just
got
said. 11.
Only the people.
11
Charlie
with
McBride.
11 with the look. 11.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. The home of Kansas City Royals baseball. KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
If you're a veteran or know a veteran who's having thoughts of suicide or experiencing a mental health or substance use crisis, the Veterans Crisis Line provides direct connection to free, confidential, and compassionate support. Dial 988, then press 1, and you'll be connected to a trained crisis counselor who will listen, provide support, and connect you to additional resources if needed. Thank you for your service. We owe you our support. Dial 988, then press 1. Sponsored by the Nebraska Department of Veterans Affairs, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Welcome into The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome into The Breeze. Again, I am Harrison Arns, running the board here on Sunday for Ticket Weekends. If you want to join the show, Sarter Heyman text line 402-464-5685, as well as we're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo Channel 951. A great way to put a face to the voice. But we're joined here by now, the host, as always, Haas and DP. We'll bring them in. How's it going, guys?
Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday is right. If you can make it a happy Sunday for the Husker Nation, but we're trying. We're trying over here.
Hey, we're good. We're not that good. Some things you got to do yourself, you know?
Amen. Amen to that.
Hey, I will say when there was the fumble in the fourth quarter, you brought it up last Sunday because I always like Grant, and I don't want to spend too much time on Nebraska football because there's so much we could say. But you brought up how Grant was a little bit in the doghouse with his fumbling, and as it happened in the fourth quarter, I was like, "Gosh darn it, Harrison, why'd you have to put it out there?"
me and Matt Rule and everyone involved then put that out there. I mean, that's one where that's an unfortunate situation. That's got to be driving him crazy too. I don't want to bag on Anthony Grant because he's a hell of an athlete, and yeah, I know, I'm absolutely right. Super disappointing. Like you said, I'm sure it's incredibly disappointing for him too. But luckily, I think he's going to have some more shots to hopefully work his way in there. But yeah, it's just kind of one of those things where I want to say it's like, of course, I saw that coming, but we've lost in every possible way now. To say I've seen that before, every time we lose, I can argue I've seen that before because we've quite literally exhausted every way to lose. But you can't blame Matt Rule for all the baggage that was behind him. This is his first game. That baggage isn't his baggage. So I'm optimistic for week 2. But yeah, it was tough pill to swallow this weekend, to say the least.
Before DP imparts his wisdom, let me take a step back and go the other route on Grant. So his athleticism, the way he runs the ball, the way he plays, he's such a weapon. So this isn't somebody you just, hey, you fumble the ball, you're done. Now the running back's job, Number one, you don't turn it over. Quarterback, you don't turn it over. If you throw interceptions in the end zone, regardless of what you think of referees and all that, then you're not playing. So there was a really good running back for the New York Giants who had to change his carrying stance to like hold the ball up here, and because of it was such a good running back, and that's Tiki Barber. So I was at my kid's school over last week. There's two kids carrying a football, and both of them had the ball out. They had it out like here. It's hard with the camera to see, but it was like 2 feet away from their body, and I wanted to just go and strip the ball out and show them, you better hold that thing really tight. And if you're going to carry it with one arm, it better be really tight on your body. And I'm not a football coach, but it doesn't look really tight. So whatever it is, you guys, anyone, Nebraska needs Grant on the field. They need him on the field, and they can't have him fumble.
Yeah, it fell into several categories for me.
Might have just lost him for a little bit there. Hopefully we get DP back. Now we just got a frozen DP on the screen.
Yeah.
Unfortunate time for DP. I wish he had a smile going on, I'm sure. But nonetheless, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Owl Channel 951. You can see DP's frozen face on there. In the meantime, once his Wi-Fi gets hooked up, we'll plug him back in here. I'll go ahead and save him so everyone doesn't have to stare at the frozen screen for a while. But nonetheless, as we wait for DP to get back, I'm not going to ask you entirely about Husker, Minnesota, just because probably not your focal interest. But I'm sure you probably tuned in at one point in time to TCU in Colorado.
I mean, we can go there. I think both games are going to disappoint Husker Nation, so I don't know how much we want to talk about it right now. I have my opinions on it. I said who I wanted as the coach when the search was going on. And
you were high on Dion. You deserve credit on that when a lot of people weren't. I
was in the minority on that. We don't want to talk about it too much. It's just one game. I will just say this for 30 seconds because I want to hear what DP has to say on Grant if DP's back. People sometimes don't like loud, so people didn't like Terrell Owens. But the wide receiver position and the cornerback position is always loud. It's just how they're built. Yeah. And the defense around that is if we're not, then we're not going to get the ball and so on and so forth. So you don't have loud quarterbacks, you don't have loud offensive linemen, you don't have really loud running backs, but a wide receiver and cornerback being loud and flashy. Look at Richard Sherman. It's not uncommon, but still it's not the flavor for everyone, which to me, if you know football, if you haven't done some of the things that coaches got fired for or suspended for, if you know players, knowing players is really important, especially in this day and age where people will just leave if you don't know how to communicate with them. So with that said, happy there's... go ahead.
Yeah, real quick here. I do think we have DP on the line. I just want to keep him waiting in case it is him. Might be dealing with Wi-Fi. So this is 93.7 The Ticket. I'm assuming, is this DP? Do we got him back?
Yeah, I don't know why some Sundays the Wi-Fi decides that at 12 o'clock every day its usage must go through the sky. And to make things more difficult than they 100% have to be. That's no problem. Always an easier way.
Real quick, DP, I want to say it's no problem. Good thing you have you calling in because we do want to say this is possible. Shout out to Allo VIP line brought to you by Allo Fiber, where we understand the importance of exceptional service with local heart, which again is great because when the Wi-Fi isn't working, you got to shout out Allo.
There we go. Good stuff all the way around. Yeah, a couple of things, Foss. This is where Nebraska fans are trying to find their footing. Is one, trying to put down the good past, then to try to put down the bad past, and then to find themselves in the present, and it just looks vaguely familiar. And Matt Rule is right in that he's not responsible for the things that happened before he got here, but he is. He is. We've been in those situations, also, where you come into, matter of fact, the situation I walked into with coaching with Haas, that the first thing the parents will tell you and the kids will tell you is that, well, we've seen this movie before. We know how it ends. And I said, well, you haven't seen it with me. It's my responsibility to be aware of how we got in the situation, but it's also my responsibility to uphold the good and remove the bad. Now, it didn't happen in week one, and it's just week one. As we've been saying all along, Nebraska fans, coaching staff, players didn't know what they were going to show on the field Thursday night. They had no idea. Now you have some idea, and you know that there's some things to fix. And as I like to say, you can tell the status of a program by the number of questions that you have about it. Well, we have more questions. We certainly have more answers, but we still have more questions. And then, oh, by the way, you're walking into a media storm. You're walking into higher levels of exposure for your program. It's a chance to do the thing that in sports it enables you to do, which is there's nothing wrong with the football program that a win can't cure. So you can correct things and you can fix things. And look, Nebraska fans, as much as they watched yesterday hoping that Colorado will look terrible, now can look and say, well, it's a great opportunity for Nebraska to catch Colorado on a high with their blinders on a little bit, and pick up some of the things that they can do well that would fit against Colorado, and then get a win. And just as we aren't surprised by the result from Thursday, I don't think most Husker fans would be surprised if I said Nebraska has a legitimate shot to go into Boulder and get a win. I don't think that's far-reaching. It takes a lot, but okay, that's what Saturdays are for, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I'm right there with you. That's the way I look at it. I'll be honest. With Deion, I was a little uncertain, but you guys sold me the closer and closer we got to the season. And now I'm just definitely excited, right? It's a real opportunity for Nebraska. You know, you don't want to be playing, teams that aren't any good. You get a big win here against Colorado. You can actually start building some momentum here, and it's a huge opportunity. You said it yourself, the media storm. It's Colorado's first home game. They had to play on the road against TCU. That place is going to be full. Outside the stadium, inside the stadium, media is going to be everywhere. That's going to be a real opportunity for Nebraska and Matt Rule to make some real noise if you can find a way to overcome Colorado.
And here's the other thing. Nebraska's defense looked really good.
Absolutely.
And so with that, I know the last 3 games I watched TCU play, and granted, it was against some really good offenses. Touchdowns and catches were all day. So TCU, that was a joke, touchdowns and catches, gave up a lot of touchdowns and catches. And so how will Nebraska's defense interact in the passing game? And that's my number one thing is, can they hold down Sanders? Can they hold down Hunter? And man, there's four receivers at 100 yards on Saturday for Colorado. That just throwing every ball in the breadbasket. I don't think Nebraska's defense will allow that.
Well, I would remind folks of this, though, and this was when people start to think and ponder about Nebraska's 3-3-5 defense and what it does to people. And it made Minnesota slightly uncomfortable in certain situations. But I'll point out to you that Colorado faced a 3-3-5 defense yesterday.
Yeah, I know.
They faced a 3-3-5 defense yesterday. So you get to see some things of what Colorado can do against a 3-3-5, an experienced 3-3-5, a veteran 3-3-5. And then it becomes a matter of coaching because, again, there are things that different coaches who run the same system can do against you. Listen, as a coach, I love the attack mode that Colorado put in against TCU. Get the ball out quick. Let your athletes do what they do. Force TCU's defense to make consistent tackles in the open field on a regular basis, even when fatigued, tired, clutch situations. Are they able to do that? And then to use the running game to keep them off balance. So, look, Colorado's seen the 3-3-5. You're not going to surprise them with what it can do. You can surprise them about what you do within it based on your personnel. And I think a player that I want to circle, and again, remember that Nick Henrich and Jamari Butler didn't play. And so they were missed. I don't know how quickly they can be cleared, but you go with what you got. I think things are familiar. There's some. If Nebraska just wants to lean on Colorado for 4 quarters, I think they have a shot. But I don't know that Marcus Satterfield in Nebraska give us the warm and fuzzies when it comes to just running the football and leaning on the offensive lineman up front. It's a different kind of deal.
Yeah, I'm curious to see it. And real quick, I'm with the receivers. That's just one spot. Again, it was a little weird yesterday. You only get to see Isaiah Garcia Castaneda for the first half, and then he gets hurt, and then you insert Marcus Washington in the second half because he was suspended for the first half. So again, you kind of got a group of receivers. You got 2 defensive key players out. Receivers are kind of a mess just in terms of rotations, getting hurt. But it still doesn't bode well that your leading receiver only played one half of football. So there is some concerns there. It's a stretch for me to say that we got a chance. I think it is going to have to be that heavy lean on him with Gabe Ervin, and you get Jeff Sims to run more. The interceptions, I don't know if that's a progression thing with him, if he's just not able to go through those fast enough, if he's just locking on one guy before the snap. That's what I was kind of getting out of it. But, hey, I'm coaching from my couch. I'm nowhere near Matt Rhule's level. But that's kind of where I'm at. I'm not sure how much more time you want to spend on football. I could talk on days about it, but Haas, it is your show. It is The Breeze. We got Monday through Friday for Husker football, so I'll let you take it from here.
Look, the only thing that I picked up from Saturday, well, there's lots of things, but the number one thing, if we're going to talk coaching from the couch, if I'm coaching Sims, I'm finding out where number 12 is. I'm looking for him. I will close my eyes and throw the ball the other way. And then I have a much better chance of completing the pass to Nebraska than I do if I throw it anywhere near Travis Hunter. That's my coaching tip for Nebraska.
Yeah, he's a threat.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I'll say this.
You're not wrong at all.
If he brought in that early reception at the beginning of the game where Sanders dropped it in the bucket, his only really bad play where he just goes through his hands, if he makes that touchdown, he's getting talked about as the Heisman front runner.
He might already be.
Yeah. 101 odds yesterday, too, for all those who were quick looking after the game. I was checking it out. It was 101 odds yesterday. I'm sure those people who aren't in the state of Nebraska because they can't do it. If you're out of the state of Nebraska, some good chance to make some money there because if he stays healthy, my Lord, over 160 snaps. And I'll give TCU credit. People are kind of calling him out. Why did they keep going to Travis Hunter? They assumed he would get tired over time. It just didn't happen. He's just a maniac out there. He deserves a ton of credit. He didn't slow down at all. And I think that's what TCU wanted to do. I think they assumed he was going to tire out over time. Didn't happen. So he's going to be a real challenge. Haas, I don't even know how much of the joke that is. I'll be honest. He was that good yesterday.
Has anyone compared him to Shohei Ohtani yet?
I haven't heard it.
Well, you heard it here first on the Breeze.
There was some of that talk yesterday online and in circles that to do what he's done. I mean, I'm old enough to remember that there were guys like Gordy Lockbaum who made a Heisman Trophy run from Holy Cross because he played both sides of the ball and played every down. And I don't think – I mean, he had success offensively. Defensively, not on the same planet, not in the same universe. But TCU schemes based on rules. If this, then this. If this, then that. Right? That they're not teaching the plays as much as they are theory to the plays. Right? You have your scheme and what you're trying to attack, and then to read that is the important thing. The problem with that for Nebraska is that I'm not sure it matters what Nebraska lines up in. I'm not sure it matters what Jeff Sims sees when he lines up. The reality is you were a receiver down to start the game. Marcus Washington was down, so you didn't get him into the second half. And then he came in and got 4 targets. Isaiah Garcia Castaneda, 5 targets, he's the most targets. But if you don't use the tight ends in this system against Colorado's defense, you're going to struggle. Like that's a real thing. So there are some boxes to check. There's some things to clean up on the offensive line, some things to clean up on the defensive line. All of that's in play. Also, making big plays on special teams will be a big part of it. I think that they compete. My question will be: Will they clean up the big man mistakes? And again, you're going to play the first half without Ty Robinson because of the ejection. Mm-hmm. You're already shorthanded. There's just a lot of moving parts in it. So, it'll be a long week in Lincoln, Nebraska.
That's an understatement. DP, I'll fill you in on the producers text group chat. It was right after the game, after Colorado won. Rico sends all the producers, get ready, boys. It's going to be a long week. So again, the media buzz is building, and it's going to be an exciting one. Again, I can't stress it enough that if you're Nebraska, this is an opportunity, right? This is a huge opportunity to really catch the eye of the nation, and to do something big, something that, quite frankly, you haven't done something big in a long time. Unless your big thing is firing coaches, you haven't been the headline for good reasons in a while here. So unless you're giving credit to Volleyball Day, which they deserve, the football program itself haven't had very many good headlines. But at least Volleyball Day was a nice kind of repercussion. You could look back to that and smile about the week still. But with that being said, we got a few minutes left, Haas. We can throw it to break here and change it up on the next subject, or I'll let you go ahead and tie it up here.
So 2 things there. So the volleyball thing in DC, in the DMV, people were talking about it. Everyone knew about it. So that, number one, awesome. So happy that we've been talking about it on the ticket for so long, and acknowledging the sellout streaks, the impact that women's volleyball. It's you, Nebraska. It's you. The reason that happened is you guys are so passionate about your sports, and so I love that. I'm a girl dad, and seeing women's volleyball getting the same attention, getting more attention than WrestleMania or AEW's pay-per-view, like to get that much attention, awesome. So I want to say that. But the second thing, can you get Nash? Is it Hutmacher? Is that how you say it? Can you get him on the show? Like I heard that he was undefeated as a wrestler in high school, and I'm sure he's a WWE fan. You guys got it. DP Harrison, make it happen. Bring him on the show, and I want to hear some wrestling stories from Nash Hutmacher, because he was a beast on Thursday or Friday when he played. Thursday. It was awesome. Yeah,
absolutely. That would be a cool one to line up, because anytime you get those, that's one thing that excites me. I'm one of those guys that if we get a recruit and they got a wrestling background, that's just always going to, especially when you're undefeated like that, it's like, okay, this guy's got some footwork at the bare minimum. He knows how to move around. And again, I'm just...
Well, it was funny, guys, because as I was walking into Huntington Bank Stadium, there were a couple of families that I walked into. I walked into the Pipers, I walked into the Sims, and then I walked into the Hutmakers. And, the Polar Bear family was there in full. They were loud. But yeah, family, a wrestling family for sure, 100%. Don't know what they're going to do in season to allow that sort of thing, but hey, yeah, he's definitely a wrestling guy.
Hey, let me ask you guys this before we go to break. Just tell me if this is some truth to this coach's adage. Is the biggest improvement from week 1 to week 2? Is that a realistic expectation that we can see Nebraska make significant, improvements, or is that all just kind of coach speak? Do you just hear that nonsense and it doesn't actually hold that much weight?
I'm going to say that in one, because you have to adjust. It's such a short window. There's only 12 games. So you don't have time. In any other sport, you have time. Like you will have 30-plus games of basketball to make a huge difference. Baseball, you have a 60-game season to work it through. In football, you've got 12 weeks to get it right. And I lean the other way. One, I think the coaches get smarter between weeks 1 and 2 because you don't know who your gamers are. You don't know how the game operation is gonna work. Who are the lights gonna be too bright for? Who shines up? Nebraska has an opportunity because players will listen more this week than they did last week. They will listen more because they now know, oh, coach is right. This doesn't work, or this will work if I do it. And you have tape. You have tape on them against an opponent. And a lot of people got humbled. A lot of people got smarter. A lot of people got better. They have the opportunity to get better. We'll see. It's still wait and see. It's one game.
Yep, absolutely. I think that's a good spot to go to break. And again, I'm just excited to see it with Jeff Sims. Again, to me, that's a lot of progression things. At least it's a question of, just going through your reads mentally, not necessarily about ability, right? He's got the ability to do it. It's just up for him to kind of make those better decisions. And we did still see some highlights. Defense definitely can hang your hat on a good week for them. You would expect 13 points is enough to win it. But again, we'll see. Colorado, it should be a good challenge. One of the texters points out TCU only had 3 returning starters. And yeah, that's a fair point. We still don't really know how good TCU is. They can end up dominating for the rest of the season. We'll just have to kind of wait and see. But nonetheless, it's an exciting chapter for Nebraska football to kind of have another opportunity this week to really make a name for yourself. This is The Breeze. I'm Harrison. That's Haas. We got DP on the phone, brought to you by Allo VIP. We're Allo Fiber, where we understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. This is The Breeze. We'll catch you guys on the other side of the break.
This is where it happens. Long hikes with friends, kayaking adventures with family, more horseback riding, zip line gliding, rock face climbing, hammock camping fun than you could ever imagine. And it's all outdoors, amongst the trees and across the prairie, here beneath Nebraska skies. Plan an outing today at yournebraskaadventure.com. Sponsored by Nebraska Game and Parks, aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
I think it's just vapor. Vaping is safer than smoking, isn't it?
There's really not even that much nicotine in them, right?
One vape pod has as much nicotine as 1 pack of cigarettes.
My kid
knows it's dangerous. 5.4 million American kids vape, and most think it's harmless. Get your head out of the cloud. Talk to your kid about vaping. Visit talkaboutvaping.org. That's talkaboutvaping.org. Brought to you by the American Lung Association and the Ad Council.
When you're high, you feel different. Think different, you talk different, you draw different, you listen to music different, but you probably knew that. Problem is, you also drive different, and not in a good way. That's why driving high is illegal everywhere. So if you're high, just don't drive. Make a plan to get a sober ride. Because if you feel different, you drive different. Brought to you by NHTSA and the Ad Council.
Mario fue pintor más de 30 años. Cuando me dijo que se le estaban olvidando las cosas, fue difícil. Un día me dijeron que pintara el marco del lado por dentro y pinté el lado de afuera.
Yo le diría a la gente que le diga a su familia lo que está pasando con él.
Si algo se nota diferente, podría ser Alzheimer. Es momento de hablarlo. Visita alz.org/nuestras historias para saber más. Un mensaje de The Alzheimer's Association y The Ad Council.
If you can plan barbecues and weddings, you can plan to protect yourself from a natural disaster. Sign up for local alerts, prepare an emergency kit, and make a family communications plan. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its pre-diabetes awareness partners.
Tailored Landscapes is actively preparing for spring. Things like getting new tree orders, getting equipment ready, and training staff to serve you the best we can. If you haven't already planned, now is the perfect time to figure out a maintenance plan for your yard. We're on the brink of spring cleanups for all of our existing customers and have limited spots left. We trim trees and shrubs when needed and only mulch proper amounts. Give us a call today at 402-432-2572 to set up a meeting with one of our designers and get ready for Tailored Life's grand opening in Bennett.
You know that feeling after a good, hearty meal? Worries of the world just slip away. Time slows down. Nothing but good times and good company. That's what you get with Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul. Mary Ellen's does food right, with a menu that includes smoked wings, pulled pork, brisket, catfish. And don't sleep on their sides, shrimp and grits, collard greens, baked beans. It's food that makes your heart happy. Mary Ellen's Food for the Soul, just east of 27th and Pineland. Let them fix you a plate.
Hey there.
Hi, honey.
Uh-oh.
Remember we told Jamie and Mike about Liberty First Credit Union, how great their checking account and car loans are, the amazing service we get, and how we love being members?
Yeah.
Well, they took our advice. Jamie said how easy it was to move all their accounts and become members. Now they say they're banking with purpose at Liberty First Credit Union.
Learn more about being a member at libertyfirstcu.com. Liberty First Credit Union. Banking with purpose.
Win $500.
There's a lot of realtors in Lincoln, but don't get overwhelmed by all the names.
It's just another way our game is getting better all the time.
Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate is your go-to option when buying or selling residential and commercial
Parkview Animal Hospital
Ben's
in
team
Lincoln is
offers
not just a
unbeatable
professional
customer
care
service that promises to make the buying and selling process as stress-free as possible. Call Ben today at 402-419-6309 for all your real estate needs. Ben Biker with Professional Realty Group at Berkshire Hathaway Ambassador Real Estate. No pressure, just professionalism.
Problem gambling affects more than the gambler. It affects spouses, children, extended family members, and friends. If you are a loved one who's struggling with addiction, contact Choices Treatment Center's helpline at 402-476-2300. That's 476-2300.
You're listening to The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into The Breeze here on Ticket Weekends. Again, I am Harrison, that's Haas, and we got DP on the phone line as well, as we continue to do every Sunday. And again, ticketfm.com in case you missed any of the podcasts. If you want to join the show, Starter Heyman text line at 402-464-5685. That is the Starter Heyman text line. And we're also streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo Channel 951. So again, tons of ways to enjoy the show. And I always say the stream's a great way to put a face to the voice. And again, we still have DP on Allo, brought to you by the Allo VIP line, where we understand local service, or excuse me, exceptional service with a local heart. But we kind of wrapped up talking about Husker football. I'm not sure if you have anything more to add to that, but Haas, I'll throw it back to you, the host, as always, on where do you want to go with it next.
We talked about number 0 being a wrestling star, so we should transition to wrestling a little bit. And I'm going to talk about someone that we rarely have talked about on The Breeze with regards to wrestling, and that's The Miz. So I don't typically respect or show the respect to The Miz on all the things that he's accomplished, but to put him in the storyline with LA Knight, where fans like LA Knight, he just needs a little bit more. And so adding The Miz to him and giving him that story is just going to propel LA Knight to wherever he's going to go for WrestleMania. So I love that they did that. I love that they involved John Cena with it. And so the Miz, I know from a bad guy perspective, Dom is getting attention and getting so many boos. But The Miz has been doing it for so long. He's so hated. He's headlined WrestleMania. He's done all these things, and we never, ever have talked about him. So what did you think about The Miz last night, DP?
I don't have much issue with it. This is one of those cards where Not everybody's on it, and the focus is kind of shared. It's kind of all over the place. I mean, again, you had champions that didn't appear, top flight talent that didn't appear. That's just the way it works. So you utilize your talent as best as you can, put them in the best situations for the best, highest level of success. I'm fine with creating a nemesis for LA Knight. I'm also okay with Miz getting hyped because he's still one of the top 10 microphone people in the business. He's still one of the top 20 performers in the ring. Name recognition, marketability, cross-branding, he's all of those things. And we've done this before with talented people. I mean, those host situations become valuable. His in-ring performance, his in-ring match with LA Knight was exceptional. Like, that's the end part, is can you deliver? Can you get into the psychology? Can you make things relevant? His engagement with John Cena, then with LA Knight, is top tier. Like, it's top tier. There's some guys who are higher on the pyramid right now who don't provide any of those things for WWE fans. So I'm okay with Miz getting the hype. I'm always interested in what the end game is going to be. Like, were you going to pay him off or otherwise? But yeah, for last night and that pay-per-view, I think he got 9 out of 10 just simply based on his willingness to go all the way in and for him to perform as if everything mattered.
And I'm glad you're on the same page. We typically aren't with regards to wrestling, but it's always Cody Rhodes, Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns. It's different. Rhea Ripley. Those are the people getting the attention, and a match that wasn't really talked about because there's 2-3 matches that kind of stole the show more. Wanted to make sure to give Miz the attention. Now, here I did mention Dom's name. Dom was involved in 2 matches and helped win both of them. And so I want to flash back a couple months ago. And I wanted Finn Balor to win the belt. And the reason why I wanted that was I wanted him to have a belt, I wanted Rhea Ripley to have a belt, and I wanted Damian Priest to have Money in the Bank. And since then, they gave the North American title to Dom. And last night, giving the tag team belts to the Judgment Day. Now they have 2, 4, 6 belts and a Money in the Bank, and they might have a 5th member joining. That makes them look dominant. That makes them look like the most formidable group, especially with the bloodline just being broken up potentially. So I love what they did there. It was a slow play on it. I really hope they don't have the breakup happen like right away. They need factions. Wrestling factions always breed success. And so for the Judgment Day to win the belts, I don't know if Sammy and KO are that hurt. Sammy and KO don't need the belts, but we need Sammy and KO on TV. With that said, I love the decision to give the Judgment Day the belts.
I'm not a Judgment Day guy, and I'm not. Like, I know. I've been around fashion for a long time. Like, I understand when you're building up a faction for marketing and otherwise, but if you rattled off the last list of factions, Judgment Day doesn't impress. I mean, literally, you could walk them down the street without context, and nobody would know who they were.
Other than Ripley.
They would know, and most people wouldn't care. The Rhea match was not her best. It was not their best. You blame it on the company for not pushing it and not promoting it and not letting it build up. The whole Dom thing is low-hanging fruit. We're doing the most with the least because, I don't know, somebody bought into it. I could put together 5 other factions just from the talent on the roster, and I'd be more interested in it. Now,
but they should.
If this is just their run to take some of the burden off of the bloodline, or to take some of the burden off some of the other wrestlers, Okay, but then tell me it's a downtime. Like, just tell me that without telling me that. That's what that is. I mean, you know, look, no matter how the Judgment Day turns, so whether they stay together or don't stay together, they'll break up inevitably. And when the breakup happens, I won't care. Like, I was just like, okay, now what? That's how I'm about the judgment line. Like, they're in the game and they're the story, but I'm not particularly interested.
Well,
so let me ask you this: where are you at on Dom? Because he is one wrestler to me that you just can't sell me on. I've never gotten any real buzz from him. I don't get. I just don't really get any of his buzz at all. Every time I kind of see all his matches, any highlights, clips from him, he doesn't really seem to move the crowd all that well. Like, try to sell me on Dom. Like, what draws people to him?
Okay, so multi-generational wrestlers, it's a blessing and a curse. So, I mean, that's the Cody Rhodes story, and I know DP, don't hit me. Cody Rhodes, Dusty Rhodes, Rey Mysterio, not the same. I understand, but to fulfill your father's shoes is not easy when your father was so successful, and so in the Latin community, Rey Mysterio was the guy, and he was so successful, and so with that, I guess expectations of Dom electrifying like Rey, that's not there. But why has WWE put him in such big matches? Why did they put him against? Why is my head blanking right now? I'm tired from playing so much tennis. Why did they put him against Seth Rollins in his first pay-per-view? Why did they put him in if they didn't trust him? Why would he be in a SummerSlam like that a couple years ago? So Dom has a bright future, and the crowd reaction is the biggest thing that the higher ups in WWE care about. So if the crowd hates you or loves you, then you're causing a reaction, and he gets the loudest heat in anyone in WWE.
That's a fair point.
But I don't see, that's just it. I don't. The loudest reaction isn't what business is about. Not that business. Not. It's not. And you ultimately get into the show versus the content and the product. If you make it about the show, just the show, then what happens is you become, I don't know, WCW, and 5 years later you're renamed, rebranded, and people are upset doing documentaries about how you screwed it up. That's never been what it's about. The pop is somebody else's nonsense. That's low-hanging fruit. Substance is psychology and the story. Can you whether it's believable or not, whether you actually can sell me on the fact that this thing could happen simply because of the talent that's in the space telling the story. And I'm not, like, I don't buy it. Like, I'm old school. I don't need the pomp and circumstance. I used to go to spaces where we'd go to a high school gym and watch the same stars that would play in front of 20,000 wrestle in front of 2,000. And it was the same enjoyment and same level of entertainment. I don't need the show. What I want is content, storytelling, and the connection. There's no connection to it. If his name was Dominic Jones, he wouldn't be there. Period.
So before we go to break, I think we should put it out there. If we're going to talk about bad guys in the last 5 years, in the last 10 years, who has been legitimately the worst bad guy other than Roman Reigns? And so one of them right now is no longer employed. One of them is no longer employed. And CM Punk, with no longer being a part of AEW, if you're in charge of WWE, do you bring him to WWE? Is that a possibility, DP?
Well, the fact that your big pay-per-view is in Chicago, which is the home of CM Punk and would sell tickets at a fire rate. Then the question is, can you match it up, and who would you match it up? You still have to deal with the management side and the human resource side, because he burned some bridges before he left, and since he's been gone. So it becomes a matter of, does Triple H want to pull the trigger and deal with having to deal with Phil Brooks? And Phil Brooks is the story. It's not CM Punk. CM Punk sucks. The question is, does the company want to deal with Phil Brooks? And we don't know that. I would imagine that, Triple H is measuring, okay, how much is this worth to me to deal with him and for how long? Because, duration of the contract, you could do a 1-year contract and get him in and get in Chicago twice and make your money and be gone. But then the question is, who wants to work with him, who's willing to work with him, and then who will do good work with him. But we don't know.
I'm sure Brock Lesnar would work with him. I'm sure Paul Heyman would work with him.
I don't know. I don't know.
And with that being said, I think it's a good point to go ahead and wrap it up. We'll talk about that one on the next segment. Again, this is The Breeze. We got Haas streaming in as always and DP on the Allo VIP line. We'll throw it to break and catch you guys on the other side.
Agriculture is the economic engine of the Midwest. At Acres Equipment, we dedicate ourselves to making that engine run smoothly. We supply our farmers and ranchers with quality John Deere equipment, parts, and service. We also deliver the most advanced technology and precision ag strategies to help them farm today and for the future. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has come to the attention of the Nebraska Lottery that when people hear a radio commercial in their car for one of our lotto games, Powerball, Mega Millions, or Lucky for Life, they tend to begin daydreaming about how they'll spend the prize money if they win, instead of paying attention to the road. So please, when I tell you that Nebraska Lottery Lotto games offer big money and big fun, keep your mind on driving. Do not start thinking about all the things you could buy if you win. Things like bright red sports cars, tropical vacations, 100-inch TVs, hot tubs, SUVs, a new computer, motorboats.
Bob, snap out of it.
Oh, good heavens. Ladies and gentlemen, my apologies. Perhaps I should go home now.
You better let me drive.
Lotto games from the Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certification. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
Hi everyone, Kendall Warnock, A1 Automotive in downtown Lincoln. Spring is here. Summer is fast approaching. With weddings, vacations, and weekend getaways on your mind, do not let car issues prevent you from getting where you need to be. Car problems shouldn't be something that you put up with. Let us get you back on the road in comfort and safety. We diagnose all makes and models from Porsches to Hondas, Toyotas, and Chevrolets. We fix a variety of issues with all of them with our talented techs and our experienced staff. A1 Automotive at 11th and L, downtown Lincoln, always honest answers.
Steve's Garage Doors and Services is hiring. They are looking for a garage door installation and service technician with a clean driving record. Experience is not required as they will train for the positions. However, mechanical aptitude is required. If you want to come be a part of a small business where you're family, not just an employee, call Steve's Garage Doors and Services today to apply at 402-480-2840. That's 402-480-2840. Steve's Garage Doors and Services.
This Easter, focus on your family instead of dishes with the Venue Easter to-go meals. Prepared fresh in-house by our chefs, these meals are ready to heat and eat with packages for 2 to 3 people or 6 to 8 and your choice of juicy beef tenderloin, tasty herb-roasted chicken, or our famous 6-pepper crusted prime rib. All meal packages come with sides, and we have additional add-ons available to complete your feast. Order today at venuedelivered.com/Easter. That's venuedelivered.com/Easter.
Spring Sports are here and it's time to upgrade your equipment. But don't go rushing to your big box store. Play It Again Sports is your place to go for all spring sports equipment for baseball, softball, golf, and disc golf. Play It Again Sports has quality, slightly to gently used equipment, and 50% of their inventory is actually new equipment. And don't forget, buying from them is a great way to get new products with great discounts by also bringing in your used items for store credit or cash on the spot. Play It Again Sports at 48th and Vine.
Agriculture is the economic engine of the Midwest. At Acres Equipment, we dedicate ourselves to making that engine run smoothly. We supply our farmers and ranchers with quality John Deere equipment, parts, and service. We also deliver the most advanced technology and precision ag strategies to help them farm today and for the future. Acres Equipment, solutions for every field.
Ladies and gentlemen, it has come to the attention of the Nebraska Lottery that when people hear a radio commercial in their car for one of our lotto games, Powerball, Mega Millions, or Lucky for Life, they tend to begin daydreaming about how they'll spend the prize money if they win, instead of paying attention to the road. So please, when I tell you that Nebraska Lottery lotto games offer big money and big fun, keep your mind on driving. Do not start thinking about all the things you could buy if you win. Things like bright red sports cars, tropical vacations, 100-inch TVs, hot tubs, SUVs, a new computer, motorboats.
Bob, snap out of it.
Oh, good heavens. Ladies and gentlemen, my apologies. Perhaps I should go home now.
You better let me drive.
Lotto games from the Nebraska Lottery. Top prize odds vary by game.
Working at Continental in Lincoln isn't a job, it's a career. And right now they've raised wages again and they're hiring for production operators at $24.11 per hour, which grows to $28.27 per hour within 3 years. Skilled trade positions now start at $32.76 per hour with opportunities to make more based on certifications. Continental also has salary jobs available and great benefits, plus medical and prescription costs at very low premiums. Dental, vision, and life insurance are offered at no premium cost to the associates with increased bonuses and vacation for new hires. To learn more or to apply, go to continental-jobs.com with keyword Lincoln. Come work at Continental today.
You're listening to The Breeze with DP and Haas on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
All right, welcome back into The Breeze again. I am Harrison. We got Haas on streaming in and DP on the Allo VIP line. Again, Allo Fiber, where we understand the importance of exceptional service with a local heart. So again, shout out to Allo VIP for sponsoring. If you guys want to join the show, Starter Heyman text line 402-464-5685, as well as we're streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, and Allo Channel 951. So again, plenty of ways to enjoy the show and go to ticketfm.com in case you missed any of the podcast. But Haas, I'll go ahead and throw it back to you as we left on a question before the last break.
So with the time left, DP, which match from the power couple do you want to talk about first? Do you want to talk about Trish and Becky, or do you want to talk about the main event with Seth and Shinsuke?
Well, I'm just stunned that you called the power couple when you weren't talking about Rhea and Dom. I was curious about more. It was a great match with Shinsuke and Seth. A little surprised that the post-match attack wasn't televised, which is a big part of some of what the question with Shinsuke is some of it gets lost in translation. That you need to that need to be a part of it. Like that need to be shown to the masses. Like you can't have to go to social media to find that, right? And then the next thing, like I kept waiting for Priest to come down the hill after, with Seth not being able to get it together. That would be a great cash-in situation. That's what I thought all the buildup was for. That's what I thought it was for. Because they kept saying they have all the gold. And I'm like, well, you don't have all the gold. You don't have the belt. So, yeah, I kept waiting for it. It never came.
I concur with that. I agree with that. I also think Shinsuke Nakamura should be the head of Judgment Day. Just want to put that out there.
Oh.
Yeah, they're the top faction, but they need so much more help.
It's
Like,
just
they need so many
the
more
United
bodies.
Nations.
You got a side dude who's adding to the content now. Now Shinsuke belongs. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do with it. I don't know. There's been conflicting stories about Seth and his health. He's still, top 4 in selling and content. But then on the other side, what do you do with Becky? Like, doesn't Becky, she has to either have the strap or you're not using her properly, or you can't use her properly. So then the question is, what are you going to do with her? I don't know what they're going to do with either one of them, truth be told.
Also, I'll let you kind of try to piece that one together there on what do they do with Becky. And again, we'll kind of wrap it up here. We've got a couple minutes left, so I'll let you wrap things up.
How do you let a main eventer of WrestleMania become the NXT Women's Champion? That's the question, DP. How does that happen?
I mean, you're setting some standard to it. I mean, it's the same thing that the NXT North American Champion is a part of the faction that's supposed to be running wrestling. You got to figure out what the brand is. Like, what are you telling people, and then what do you want their eyes on? Putting Becky over there allows them. It checks a box, right? And there is some value to putting wrestlers down over there, but she still belongs in the women's main event most cards. So, like, this is when the writers, man, you start to, like, what are y'all doing back there? Like, what do you want us to see? I don't know that the fans know what they want to see with Becky. Like, is Becky better than Rhea? Bigger than Rhea?
In the past, yes. Right now, Rhea's the best female on the roster.
The best what?
Best female on the roster.
Is she the best performer?
She's the best everything.
Okay, I don't see her as the best performer. I think she's got some flaws and she's got some holes. Is she better performer than Charlotte?
I'd take Ripley.
Well, DP just played a little chess on that one. I said overall, not performer. Overall, I would take Ripley, but obviously Charlotte. It's Charlotte.
Or
Bianca?
Are we talking overall? Because overall, I'm taking Ripley.
Bianca.
In-ring performer, Bianca. Overall, I'm taking Ripley. The talker, the manager, the wrestler, the size. Is Bianca spearing Kevin Owens through the barricade? No. Is Charlotte spearing?
That's like saying China was a better performer than Charlotte. No. That's just the thing you're good at.
All right, we got about 2 minutes here to spin out of the circle. We're going in right now.
Yeah.
Well, you're just playing favorites right now. You could do so much more with Ripley. They just haven't. I don't know why they're putting her against the people they're putting her against. Put her against Bailey. Put her against people.
Final thoughts, Haas. I'll let you go on your rant here as we kind of wrap things up.
Hey, we said Becky did well. I wanted Shin to win. That would have been really cool. Trish Stratus, 20 years later. Thank you, Trish. Thank you, Trish.
Thank you, Trish.
Thank you, Trish. And with that being said, I think that's a great way to wrap up the Breeze. Again, shout out for all you guys joining in. And if you missed any of the podcasts from Sunday, ticketfm.com, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcast from. Been a great show, and we will see you guys all next week.